this is something cool I kind of came up with a few years ago. I was always having trouble with extension cords, either being tangled or just in a mess, or not knowing where they were, or having to roll them up after jobs, kind of a pain. So what I did was, Lowe's had a bunch of these purple tubs on clearance, and I bought a bunch to put stuff in, just to throw up in my rafters. I have a few shelves over my rafters in this building, and I could throw things like spray paint cans and my car washing supplies, stuff like that. And all I did was drill out a few holes. I ran the plug side out of the basket and just zip tied it in place, and then the outlet side just pulls right out. You can just pull as much as you want, and when the job's done, it's a little cold today, so it's stiff, but you just coil it back into the bucket. It never gets tangled, and it's really easy to just pull out and drag wherever I need it. Definitely the best way I found to store a long extension cord. This is a 100-footer. So last night, where I left off was, I have one leg. This is going to be the top of the bench, the top of the support. I have one leg already drilled through and kind of in place, kind of a dry fit. You can see the bolt down there. And the way I decided to do this, because some of my 2x4s are a little racked. I don't know if you could tell, there's a little less at the top than at the bottom. This particular 2x4 here is just a little twisted. And so I was worried about transferring dimensions right to these 4x4 legs. So what I decided to do was level off a nice square surface and just basically just put them together and just mark my 4x4 holes right through the supports themselves. So that's what I've done on these first two, and they've come out pretty well. This one, actually what happened was, you got to remember, I drilled the holes in these longer supports too wide. So this one's got a little wiggle room, and that's why it's not completely flush. But it does flush up. From moving it last night, it actually wobbled a little. I don't have these tightened down at all. I am going to glue all this up before final fitting it. I'm just kind of a dry run to figure out what fits and what needs some work. So this one I got drilled out last night. It's all ready to go. So I'm going to dry fit this one together and then move on to the other side and get those two drilled out. There's a little bit of difficulty getting these bolts through the 4x4s because there's a pretty big temperature change between yesterday and today. We're somewhere around 30 degrees cooler, 30-40 degrees cooler. So now the second leg is in place, and now I'm going to work on getting the third one drilled out. So basically what I'm going to do here is get everything lined up just so, and mark the holes with the drill, and then I can just drill them right through. So I basically need everything to be nice and flush. Do a little trimming there. So you can see here, there's just a tiny little part there that's raised, that's keeping me from being flush here. So I can cut that off. Now we should be pretty good. Much better. So I unfortunately don't have clamps that are quite big enough to clamp this all up. I wish I did. I need to get on that. So I'm just going to kind of hold it by hand and carefully mark it with the drill. I just want to get that screw tip started in there just to mark it. Once I feel the blades start to catch, I go ahead and pull back out. Now I just need to mark the other side here. There we go. So now I got 2 holes marked, and I'm going to drill them right through. Going through these moist 4x4s is a little bit tough, so I got the drill bit nice and lubed up, and we're going to try to get a nice, clean, straight cut. About as good as we can hope for there. My battery's running pretty low, so I'm gonna get it on the charger, and I'll start covering more as it's charged. So I've gotten all 4 of the legs into the top support, and it's time to start on the shelf supports. So I decided to go out on a limb, and I've laid these holes out to drill instead of mocking up and drilling from that. So I've got these laid out. I got my little knife marks in there, and I'm gonna drill them and see how they come out. So measuring and laying out my holes for these lower shelf supports, it turned out really well. You can see them pretty well flush there. I have a little twisting in these 4x4s and a couple of 2x4s, but overall everything's turning out really flush, really nicely. So I counted washers wrong, so I've run clean out of washers. So I'm going to head to the hardware store and pick up the project tomorrow. I do have enough to just go ahead and bolt these side braces on. Well, this thing is turning out really sturdy. Even just having the top braces on and some side bracing, I mean, the whole thing kind of moves as one piece. It's really solid. If I stand on one of the top braces, I get no wiggle from the leg. So I'm excited with the way it's going to turn out once I get the rest of the cross bracing on, and then this will have a shelf surface on it, and of course I'll have a double thick 3/4 inch ply tabletop, and it should be nice and sturdy. I don't think I'm going to have a problem putting my shelves on the back or any problem with stability for reloading. One question that I keep wrestling with is how I'm going to attach the top, because I'd like it to be free of fasteners, you know, the top working surface. So what I'm thinking about doing is drilling out and bolting to these braces the bottom layer, and then just laminating the top layer on, maybe a few wood screws just to catch the secondary layer. I think that's going to be sufficient, especially I'm going to be bolting presses through it. I don't think it's going to come loose or work loose. So that's what I'm thinking now is bolt the bottom layer on and laminate the top, mostly with just glue. So let me know what you guys think. Alright, so if you have any ideas on how to attach my bench top, weigh in the comments. I'm excited to see if anything shows up. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and just bolt it and laminate it, see how it comes out. So I'll see you guys on the next one.